sort of what's going on right now with regard to this this hostage situation. Jen Psaki has been sidestepping calling this a hostage situation. She's talking about the important protocols that must be followed before we allow anybody to get on a plane, whether it's chartered, whether it's commercial, or whether it's a U.S. military plane. We need to make sure we know who's coming into the United States. Take a listen.
The Secretary of State said there are limits to what we can do without personnel on the ground.
Yeah.
You just said we are not on the ground.
You're right.
Whose fault is that?
I don't think this is about fault here. I'm convinced. I think what people want to understand is what we're doing to help address it. There's
Alejandro Mayorkas, I just don't, he has no idea what he's doing right now, but it's very clear that the biggest threat, according to the Biden administration, are still the American people. This is how he described the biggest threat to the American people right now. Take a listen.
We've seen the threat evolve from the foreign terrorists seeking to enter the United States to the individual here radicalized to violence by a foreign terrorist ideology to now what we consider the most serious terrorism-related threat on our homeland, which is the domestic violent extremist.
Pushback at all. We've got Americans behind enemy lines, and he says that Trump supporters, basically Trump voters, domestic violent extremists is the term that he chose to use, but basically the American people are the biggest problem for Americans right now.
So the people that love America, stand for the flag, fight our wars, and pay our taxes are the ones that want to harm our great nation. Got it. That really seems to add up. Clearly, I'm speaking in massive levels of sarcasm. Alexandra Mayorkas is just a pawn for Joe Biden, who's completely incapable of speaking and representing the American interest. We have our southern border completely flooded with people who are not vetted in any way, shape, or form. Now these airplanes are filled with people that don't have passports or identification to tell us who they are. Unfortunately, the 20th anniversary of 9/11 is coming up in just a few short days. That is in the rear view, but not far enough. And we're going to see all these people with no credentials in our country. All we can do is hope and pray each day that we don't see another attack like this. And it's certainly not going to be from people on the right who are the true people that love this country and want to fight for this country. And as you said earlier, this is just gaslighting to a level that is really, really dramatic. And unfortunately, I think his words are going to come back to bite him. I hope that we don't see another terrorist attack on this soil, but I assure you it won't be by people wearing red hats.
Erin, that's a really good point. I appreciate you bringing that up, Allison. I want to dovetail on that. So we've got the 20th anniversary of 9/11 now. We're just a couple days away from that. A solemn day for everybody here in this country. They'll ring in their new government. They're going to have a big ceremony on Saturday on 9/11 in Kabul, and they're inviting China, Russia, and Iran.
I mean, it's a thumb in the eye of the American people who have lost the ones that they love, most importantly. Forget about politics and the administration. My husband is a 9/11 survivor, and that day is going to be a really hard one for all of us and all the people that he lost that worked at his company. And this is just another act of terrorism. There may not be lives lost, but it is truly painful to the hearts and souls of those who lost on this fateful day. And they're doing it clearly, intentionally, and purposely. And they know that we have an administration and a government that will do absolutely nothing about it.
Good point. Thanks, Erin. All right, panel, we'll pick this back up top of the hour. Looking forward to that. Let's welcome Alex back. General Holt, we'll see you next hour. Thank you so much. Let's welcome in our powerhouse panel on this Thursday morning. We start with attorney and Turning Point USA contributor Erin Elmore is with us. Former with you. The president, Erin, is going to address the nation today and talk about a new strategy, a six-pronged strategy when it comes to handling COVID-19. I think we've got to go back to the proverbial drawing board. I think what we've been doing for the last 18 months largely has not worked. And a lot of this is on Joe Biden's hands right now and on his watch. Joy Reid was on MSNBC with Dr. Fauci. They were talking about all those fans that were at all those college football games over the weekend in all those pesky red states. Take a listen.
What was your sort of immediate thought when you saw all of those fans packed into stadiums in Texas, Wisconsin, and elsewhere? As soon as I saw it, I thought COVID's about to have a feast. What did you think?
I thought the same thing. I think it's really unfortunate.
So, Erin, the NFL is going to open tonight. Bucks, Cowboys down in Tampa, Super Bowl champions. It'll be the first time that Raymond James Stadium has is filled to capacity since pre-pandemic. Here's what's happening. They will call out football, college football, the Sturgis motorcycle rally. They will not call out Obama's birthday party, BLM protests, the border situation, Lollapalooza. Dr. Fauci is right. He's right there with them. He's an activist as well.
I mean, he's the hardest working bureaucrat in Washington. He's been at these lies for 40 years. And correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't there a huge game at Virginia Tech? Don't we have a governor of Virginia who's a Democrat? So, we might have a few air quotes super spreaders who are on the left too. But to be honest, I think what this is telling our current government is we have had enough. We have played by your rules that have made no sense for over 18 months. Some of us have gotten vaccinated. We have done our air quotes part. We want to live our lives. We want to be college students. We want to participate in America's pastime football. We want to go to concerts, go to shows, go out with our friends, have a good time, be in public with other people, have smiles on our faces, and be Americans. Enough is enough is enough. We will not stand for your tyranny. We will stand for our teams. We will stand with our friends, and we will cheer because the science isn't following keeping us at home any longer. There was actually just, I believe, the New England Journal of Medicine said that the COVID vaccine is currently operating at about 65% successful.
I saw that.
I don't know about you, Rob, but I'm not going to get on an airplane that only works 65% of the time. If you told me there's sharks in that water, but don't worry, they don't bite about 65% of the time.
Erin, that's a guy. I saw that study. We'll pick this back up on the other side. But I think people need to get their heads around the notion that this virus is endemic. It's going to be here. We're not going to eradicate coronavirus over the next 2 months. And the old methods are not working, clearly. We'll pick this back up in just a moment, panel. See you in a minute. Alex, good perspective, 6 p.m. tonight. Thank you. What losers? Give me a break. Let's get some reaction to this with our powerhouse panel. Full panel back with us. Erin Elmore, John Fund from the National Review, Mercedes Schlapp. Mercy, you know Sean very well. You worked with him at the White House. You were communications director there. Jen Psaki was forced to address this in the briefing room a day ago. Take a listen to how she responded.
The president's objective is what any president's objective was to ensure you have nominees and people serving on these boards who are qualified to serve on them and who are aligned with your values.
And Rose, by the way. Well, not Rose. She was fine. Jack, poor guy. I felt bad for him. Erin, what do you make of all this?
I realize my gas prices are so high because I'm putting pork in my tank.
Seriously?
That's been this issue the whole time.
Yeah.
This is absolutely absurd. And I've also been to a Whole Foods in my life. Last time I went to Whole Foods, I didn't realize that a vegan diet was so much less expensive. I thought it was more expensive. Honestly, I think this is gaslighting to the nth degree, and this administration is just completely complicit with the lies of our president and being completely dishonest with the American people. And I think this is where you really hurt the moderates, the people, the moms, the dads that are going to the grocery store every day, that have 9-to-5 jobs, that need to put that gas in the car to make it to and from work. This is really hitting them where it hurts, and that's their wallet. They are seeing, hey, wait a second, everything costs more, and this is not in line with current price increases. It's inflation, and it's printing money, just like we're seeing right there on the screen. We're printing money at the highest rates in the history of our great nation. And what we're seeing is increased prices, and it's not just in meat.
And there's a reckoning, Erin. November 2022, 15 months away.
I'm praying.
But seriously, imagine just you're sitting there in your living room, and he's like, if you took out beef, pork, and poultry, there'd be no issue. I mean, it's like people are watching. They're like, that's what we eat for dinner. Crazy, but that's where we are. Totally upside down.
Let them eat cake.
Honestly, they can too. Absolutely. All right, panel, we'll pick this back up top of the hour. Looking forward to that. Thank you. Reaction right now. Full panel back with us. Turning Point USA contributor and attorney Erin Elmore is here. Former White House Director of Strategic Communications Mercedes Schlapp is with us, and Newsmax contributor and national affairs reporter for the National Review, John Fund, back with us. Mercedes, former communications director at the White House. Joe Biden yesterday is talking about unions and how important they are in the United States. Of course, we come to the proverbial end of whatever he's saying, that moment when you typically would take questions. Erin, take a look at what happened and how he responded yesterday.
Now, I'm supposed to stop and walk out of the room here. I'm going to stop, but with your permission, I'm going to walk into the room because I want to say hello to all. Thank you.
Gotcha. You did it. Great. Erin, that's saying the quiet part out loud right there. He's not supposed to say that, but somebody like Jen Psaki is telling him, listen, Mr. President, don't take questions. We'll mop everything up afterwards.
The president of the United States is supposed to come from a position of strength and look powerful and look almighty. He always says, I'm going to get in trouble and I'm not supposed to do this. And he's shuffling off. There's only one answer for this, and we know what it is. He's not capable. There was just a leak, I believe, from inside of his administration that some of his inner staff keeps his mic muted because they're terrified of what he is going to say. He is not in a position to lead our country. He is not in a position to give cogent statements. His gaffes and errors happen quickly and every single solitary day. And by the way, wow, does he deserve a medal right there? He said, I'm supposed to walk off, but I want to come talk to you guys. So this isn't a super spreader event, but our kids at football games is. The hypocrisy here really truly rings like a bell, and everyone that knows and is paying attention knows what's going on here. I believe yesterday Biden's approval rating hit the 30s. When's the last time we've seen that in the history of the United States? The thing speaks for itself. And by the way, Jill Biden isn't a PhD at all, just so you know.
No, she's got an EED in education. She got online in 2007. She's not a medical
and
doctor.
I have a Juris Doctor, so if you want to start calling me Dr. Elmore, go right ahead.
We should call attorneys doctor, I feel like. You know, instead of at the end, the ESQ, Dr. Erin Elmore with us, Dr. Richard Kimball. All right, we got a great poll, John, that I thought you'd find fascinating. This just out. So these are crucially important states, both in 2022 and then, of course, in 2024. President Biden's approval rating is so bad in 6 of the most important states in the country: Texas, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, Arizona, and Pennsylvania. Always, I will see you all again very soon. We have got a lot more.